Morning, everybody. It's about 8:35, and as you can see up there on the title, it says going forward doesn't mean forever. Now what that means, and you probably see in the description box as well, going forward in any kind of media showcasing, basically any media outlet, when it comes to shows or franchises and stuff like that, or businesses, doesn't mean going forward doesn't mean forever. It doesn't mean it's permanent, nor does it mean it's temporary. Now, I know that sounds like it confuses a lot of people, but let me explain. Going forward initially means for the time being, in my opinion. For the time being, going forward, this is the way things are. Now, there was a certain head writer, and I've done 2 videos on this. I've done a long-ass topic on it, response to the topics at various sites of this said franchise for this said character, because of said writer. But this past Sunday at the NYCC, the New York Comic Con, said head writer, according to one of the people on hand there, said it was official that said character would be a certain way going forward. Now, there's a lot of fans that are kind of like split, if you will. Kind of split 3 ways, if you will. One set of fans doesn't like it. They don't like what this guy has done. The other side, the other part, they like it. They're cool with it. And then there's the other side that doesn't, that looks at it. And then there's the side of the fan. Then there's the third part of the puzzle, in which fans like myself look at it in a positive way. Look at it and say to ourselves, we know that even though this guy says it's going to be this way going forward, it's not forever. I mean, let me explain. You see, right here, I printed out a copy of the response that I did on one of the topics at multiple various sites. Now, basically what I have used is examples of how, to me, this is not going to be a permanent situation, nor is it temporary. Because the way the story arc is told, out of the fingertips of the person that's writing it, it's just for the time being. And I've given a variety of examples here in videos about this situation. I've given a variety of explanations through texting on various sites out there. But let me read it for you. Now, some of these I did get off of Wikipedia. But these are examples I want to show you. And they're not just with cartoons and comic books and whatever. There's a lot of other examples. In fact, I'll tell you about a more recent example. Netflix. How's that for a recent example? When Netflix CEO came out and did the apology, and then said they were going to split the company into 2 brands, Netflix and Qwikster, and that was going to be the way it was, and that's how it was going to be going forward. Some were okay with it, some were indifferent about it, and some just plain out hated it. And guess what? The moment I try to go on Qwikster, instead of saying coming soon, instead it goes right back to Netflix. And then I find out yesterday that Netflix overall decided, that the CEO decided overall just to drop the entire Qwikster thing, because even they realized it'd be too confusing for people. So even though they said at the beginning, about a month ago or so, or a few weeks ago, whatever, that going forward, they were going to split. That going forward, they were going to have a streaming service and a DVD video game service. And now, all of a sudden, that's null and void, and they're just back to being one. What does that tell you, folks? That tells you just because someone says it's going to be this way going forward doesn't mean it's forever. Doesn't even mean it will last long. It's just for the time being. You know? I mean, I know a lot of people feel as though you know, I know a lot of people will come out and say, oh, we knew that was not going to last anyway. Yeah, you may have known it wasn't going to last, but the truth is, folks, the way it was stated in that video apology by Reed Hastings, it basically was him saying that this, by splitting into two brands, that was the way things were going to be going forward. But now look. Now, I'm going to give you some other examples. Alright? I'm going to give you some other examples. One, and I've mentioned this example before, Chiribi Yusei Moon from Sailor Moon. Now, according to Wikipedia, in Act 20 of the manga, in episode 85 of the anime, is when Chiribi Yusei's Black Lady, or as she's known here in the English adaptations, Wicked Lady, first appears. Now basically, she is manipulated into doing this. She's manipulated by Wiseman. And because of this manipulation, she was infected with the power of the black crystal. In other words, the black crystal cocooned her body, enveloped her body, from what I saw on YouTube, and caused her to grow. She grows older, according to this, dons an Ogdani and Santi dress and the earrings worn by the Black Moon clan. Her hair becomes even longer than Yusei's, sailors. Her crescent becomes that of the clan, and she is frequently seen with Prince Deminder, I can't pronounce it, maybe you guys know, or Wiseman. It says that even though her dream is to become a beautiful lady like her mother, her Black Lady / Wicked Lady form is something like a femme fatale. Now, it says that her history and personality differ from both sources, the anime and the manga, right? It says in the anime she hates her family and the Sailor Senshi and tries to kill them because she believes she is unloved. She also considers her toy, Luna P, as her only friend. But in the manga, she throws the Luna P away after her transformation and derides it as a childish toy. Right? You with me? Now, it says Black Lady uses her brainwashing powers to seduce her future father, Mamoru Chuba, and tries to destroy the Senshi for the various acts of insensitivity towards her. Now, it says in the anime she tries to kill Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, but is saved from her anger by Sailor Moon, who changes into Neo Queen Serenity and embraces her daughter, allowing her to turn back into Chiribi Yusei. In the manga, it says her sorrow over the death of Sailor Pluto shatters Wiseman's power over her, her tears activating the future silver crystal, and she changes into Sailor Chiribi Moon for the first time. So you see, basically, even now, listen to this. Does that almost sound familiar? I mean, I don't know exactly how long she was the Black Lady / Wicked Lady, but it wasn't forever. It may be for the time when it was first written in the manga and first written for the anime. Yeah, the people may have said, yeah, for the time being, going forward, this is how she's going to be going forward. But they didn't really say it was permanent. They just said it was going forward, that Chiruba Yusei was going to be the Black Lady or the Wicked Lady. Another example, and I've used this multiple times, is Cammy. Cammy from the Street Fighter USA Cartoon Network version of Street Fighter. It says that she is the central focus of the subplot in the second season. She is brainwashed by Bison and becomes one of his underlings. This is at the end of episode 2 in the second season. Fighting her former allies, both Street Fighters and Delta Red, during the remainder of the season. During the remainder of the series, actually. That being the second season, final season, whatever. Which basically is very similar here, right? Now, it says, however, she turns on Bison when she learns that he had killed her parents and switches sides back to her original allies. But also, from what I also read, she starts to remember. So, basically, the situation going on with a certain character, if you will, that Ian has done a certain thing to, is very similar in some ways, right? Okay. Now, someone here on the YT told me about Willow from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now it says Dark Willow, which is the dark evil personality or persona of Willow, is preternaturally focused on revenge, relentless, and unstoppable. Lights explode when she walks past. She forcibly takes advantage of any opportunity to further her goals. Now it does say she saves Buffy by removing the bullet from her chest, but later commandeers a tractor trailer, making it slam into Xander's car while he and Buffy are inside protecting Jonathan and Andrew, the other two members of the trio. She floats, teleports herself at will, if you will, and dismantles the local jail where Jonathan and Andrew are held. She is cruelly honest to Dawn and Buffy and overpowers everyone with whom she comes in contact. When she takes Gil's magic from him, she gains the ability to feel the world's pain, becoming determined to put the world out of its misery. She does not acknowledge her grief, and only Xander can force her to face it when he tells her that he loves her no matter what or who she is, and if she is determined to end the world, she must start by killing him. It's only then does Willow return, sobbing. Her dark side continues to be part of Willow. A story arc in season 8 has Buffy travel 200 years into the future to battle and kill Dark Willow. Present day Willow is aware of her capabilities, ever watchful of what she may turn into. So in other words, sound familiar? It should, because there's a certain character that Ian, well, I think everybody knows what I'm talking about, the head writer, I should say now, the head writer Ian, has basically done something similar with. Not in that manner, but storyline-wise. And what is that? Well, I'll explain that in part 2.